Rising smoke in the sky as gunfire rings out into the night. According to the Iraqi military, an armed drone loaded with explosives targeted the residence of Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kadhimi in an assassination attempt in the early hours on Sunday. Shortly after, the PM released a statement of reassurance that he had not been harmed. The attack occurred in Iraq's heavily fortified Green Zone, which is frequently targeted by rockets. Security forces have been deployed. It's not clear who was behind the attack, and no group has yet claimed responsibility. The assassination attempt comes amid growing political tensions following the elections on October 10th. Supporters of armed pro-Iran party Hashad al-Shaabi protested against the election results in the Green Zone on Friday, clashing with police. One person was killed and dozens left wounded.
Taiwan's Ministry of National Defense on Sunday said that 16 Chinese fighter jets had entered its Air Defense Identification Zone or ADIZ a day earlier. The number of aircraft sent into the ADIZ is one of the largest since early October, when the People's Liberation Army or PLA sent around 150 warplanes into the air defense zone in separate maneuvers over 5 days. The ministry said it issued radio warning and monitored the aircraft on Saturday using air defense systems. The jets entered the ADIZ of Taiwan's southwestern coast, following a path similar to previous incursions.
Police on the Spanish island of Mallorca have rounded up 12 people who fled a plane after it made an emergency landing. It appeared to be an elaborate scheme to enter Spain by would-be migrants from Morocco, and it closed the airport shortly afterwards. According to aircraft tracker Flight Radar 24, the plane was an Air Arabia Maroc flight between Casablanca and Istanbul. When an ambulance arrived to take off an allegedly ill passenger, 23 other passengers are believed to have fled from the plane. The airport's runways were then closed. 11 were arrested, including the passenger who claimed to be ill but was found to be healthy after a hospital checkup. They've all been charged with facilitating illegal immigration. At least 11 of the migrants are believed to still be at large.
Poland's near-total ban on abortions may have led to the death of a 30-year-old pregnant woman. That's what some activists are arguing after a constitutional tribunal ruling from October 2020 said terminating pregnancies with fetal defects was unconstitutional. Isabella, a woman in her 22nd week of pregnancy, died of septic shock after doctors waited for her unborn baby's heart to stop beating, according to activists who say she's the first woman to die as a result of the abortion ruling. The government says Isabella's death was caused by an error by doctors, not the abortion law. On Friday, the hospital said it had suspended 2 doctors who were on duty at the time of the death. But the lawyer for Isabella's family is calling for a more significant change, a change to the Polish legislation.
Frozan Safi, a 29-year-old activist and economics lecturer, has been shot dead in northern Afghanistan. Her body was identified in a morgue in the city of Mazar-e-Sharif days after she went missing on the 20th of October. And now, in the latest update coming in, the Taliban have reacted to the killing of the Afghan women's rights activist. The Taliban's Minister of Interior Affairs, in a statement through Twitter, has said that in a residential house in Khalid town, the 5th security district of Mazar-e-Sharif, 4 bodies were found and 2 people were arrested in connection with this case. Meanwhile, according to a Guardian report, Frozan's sister claimed that her sister's face was completely destroyed and she was identified only by her clothes. She also added that there were bullet wounds all over her body.
Well, here in Germany, 3 people have been severely injured in a knife attack on a high-speed train in southern Germany. Police say they arrested one man believed to be the sole perpetrator. The Intercity Express was travelling between the Bavarian cities of Regensburg and Nuremberg. There's little information about the identity of the attacker or possible motives at this stage.
A 27-year-old man has been arrested in connection with the attack and is currently in custody. Our initial suspicion is attempted murder.
Preparations underway, we understand, to consider whether former Paralympian Oscar Pistorius can be released on parole. Here's the latest we have. A conversation between all parties involved is set to take place. Now, let's remind you, Pistorius was sentenced to 13 years for the murder of his girlfriend, Reeva Steenkamp. That was on Valentine's Day back in 2013. Now, he was initially convicted of culpable homicide in 2014 by Judge Thokozile Masipa. However, that conviction was upgraded to murder in 2015.
As a department, we have stated that Oscar Pistorius is being prepared for a process called the Victim Offender Dialogue. It is almost the last leg before an inmate is taken before the parole board.
A coalition of political parties sat in Bamako Saturday to demand the country's junta organize elections next year. Mali's army rulers have been accused of dragging their feet on the transition calendar, which prescribes a return to civilian rule by February 2022. We, the political parties and groupings of political parties of the framework for a successful transition in Mali, no longer understand the totally contradictory logic of the government, which endangers the evolution of the transition and relations with our partners concerning the electoral timetable and reforms. In recent weeks, UN and ECOWAS delegations have been to Bamako in a bid to pressurize the authorities to move towards organizing elections.